Chief Justice Robert Wollentz met in 1983 with a group of Black and Hispanic court staff and discussed their concerns about the experiences of people of color with the courts. Wollentz, as a result of that meeting, formed a committee chaired by Judge James Coleman Jr., who later became New Jersey's first Black Supreme Court Justice. That committee ultimately became a national model program for addressing the issues of diversity and inclusion, access to justice, procedural fairness, and a greater public confidence in the justice system. New Jersey was a founding member of the National Consortium on Racial and Ethnic Fairness in the Courts, and its work continues. Today, the New Jersey Judiciary's Minority Concerns Program is one of a number of ongoing programs and initiatives designed to strengthen the diversity and inclusion within the state court system.
I think the Supreme Court Committee on Minority Concerns has done a fantastic job in ensuring that our court system reflects the citizens for which it serves. When you have a judiciary which is diverse, people feel comfortable. They come there, they trust it. That was one of the main concerns that I've always had. And the committee, in my opinion, demonstrates that you can trust the system because we look like you.
The committee was intended to be the organization to keep an eye out on these issues and to report back. And initially, the Supreme Court Committee and the staff was a direct report to the Chief Justice because it was just that important.
First, it gave an awareness to all of the members in the court that there were problems that most people did not see. It brought out these problems, and as a result of that, this committee came up with many suggested improvements. The Supreme Court accepted most of them. Two in particular, the committee has helped to enhance the numbers of persons of color that are in positions of authority, leadership positions, as well as the total number in this court system altogether. And second, it accepted the proposal to initiate an ombudsman program. This program provides for a point person in each vicinage that would hear problems that individuals using the system might have. The ombudsman will make recommendations as to how to solve those problems, document them so that the court and the committee are aware of what's going on a personal level that they may not have always been aware of throughout the state.
The number of minority judges are increasing and becoming more diversified, and that's all a good thing because when constituents come to our courts, not that we have to represent every ethnicity that's out there, but it is very important that they see that there is representation, if not in the vicinage where they sit, somewhere in the system.
The judiciary is now a more diverse organization. We have more diversity of judges, we have more diversity among the workforce, and the committee is a diverse committee.
We have judges who are of various racial backgrounds, various faiths, and I think it's just extremely important that those judges, no matter what your color or your racial background or your religion, that you're bringing a sense of equity to the court with a judicial posture. And people need to see that because they need to know and understand that fairness can be rendered no matter what your color.
While we've made substantial progress, looking at society, we can see that there are still problems, that the court system sort of reflect what's going on in society. In this day and age, there are many problems that are focusing with police contact, with other individual contacts that sometimes people feel that they have the ability to treat people unfairly at times. This is not what the court system's all about, but fairness. And as a result of that, some of the problems from the outside are creeping back into the court system. And this committee helps to ensure that it doesn't.
I think it's still relevant today because we live in a diverse society, and that society is becoming more and more diverse. And I think it's important to realize that that diversity in New Jersey is reflected in the court system and the leadership of the court system on the bench, and that is very important to the stakeholders or court users.
Because we in this country are more than white, black, Hispanic, meaning non-white. There are many more cultures represented that don't fit into the boxes that had been previously prescribed. So one of the reasons why we are still relevant is because New Jersey is one of the most diverse states in this union. And so the members, the persons that we serve, the constituents that are served in this state are ever broadening. And because of that, our judiciary, our staff, our judges should reflect our community. And so that for the purposes of persons using the court, they're feeling that they are being represented and represented fairly and equitably by those who sit in places where we sit, whether we wear the black robe or whether we are the staff.
That's correct. I mean, the court system should reflect the society as a whole. When I say the society, I mean the New Jersey society. And the court system more and more is pointing and leaning in that direction.
There is always room for improvement. And for some diverse segments of our population, we're not where we want to be in terms of that diversity. We want diversity of racial and ethnic minorities, but we also, that helps to enhance diversity of thought. And so it's important to have a broad spectrum of diversity on the bench, among court employees at every level in the judiciary. And there, as I said before, there's always room for improvement. And what I think is one of the strengths of New Jersey is that we constantly work toward improvement and enhancement of the judiciary.
Well, I think for the most part, I think that we are doing what we need to do, in that we're recruiting and bringing in qualified judges who are of all various backgrounds, and notwithstanding their color and their background, they have the skill and the capacity, the compassion to do this job. And it's important to continue to do that first and foremost. But it's also very important that judges proactively be involved in their communities, that our staff be active in the communities. Through our vicinage advisory committees, we have the opportunity to reach further out into the communities and be the face of the court in our communities. And that's an extremely very helpful arm of the Supreme Court Committee, or our local vicinage advisory committees on minority concerns.
I think we still have a challenge in our jury system. I'm not sure of all the ramifications of how jurors are selected, but I can recall that from my experiences as a trial judge, my experience as a juror, that the jury pool does not have as many persons of color as there are in the state of New Jersey as far as percentage-wise. So that's still a problem, and I don't know how we're going to solve that one, but it's one I think we need to work on. The juvenile disparity, there are certainly commissions and other committees that are looking at that, but I think that's still a problem in our court system. There seems to be a greater number of minorities involved in the system than non-minorities. Maybe there are societal causes for that, but I'm just looking at the end result, not the reason for it. And then the most recent thing, I think our bail system overhaul is very progressive, and hopefully that will make a big dent in some of the problems that we've had throughout in our bail system.
All of our citizens are important, and their cultures are important. So we need to learn. That's one of the challenges I think we need to ensure. Our communities are getting more diverse as days go by. So I would prefer to, and I think the committee does, have the challenge to ensure that all of our citizens have the same benefits despite our differences in appearance, dress, culture.
I've learned that everyone has something to contribute, and I've learned to respect those contributions that they make. I work with members of the Supreme Court Committee on Minority Concerns, and we strive to have a diverse committee and we learn from one another. We have had on that committee members of the minority bars. We have had ex officio members of the Attorney General's office, the Public Defender's office, Legal Services of New Jersey, all bring that expertise to the table, as well as members of the public, laypersons. And I find that we all have something to contribute and to lay on the table about this diversity that we are trying to strive for in the court system.
My involvement with the Supreme Court Committee on Minority Concerns has broadened my perspective about life in terms of all the intricacies of how we as a society have to work together. I remember years ago when I was a kid, not a kid, but I was in college. Back then, for me, that's a kid. I was in college, and one of my professors told me, expressed to me, that our society is not a melting pot. No, it's a salad bowl, because you have different kinds of communities or different kinds of cultures in that bowl. You have tomato, you have pepper, you have all kinds of different ethnic groups and religions. So therefore, it's like a salad. You enjoy the entire salad because of the flavor and the benefits that it provides to you. It's not like melting pot where you lose some of that, but with the salad bowl, you get more expanded kinds of tastes. That's what you want. And that's what I learned. And I think that's what I learned from the Supreme Court Committee on Minority Concerns, because that also made me think about the days when I was in college. And you know, this committee does that. It helps us realize that we don't need to all look alike, but we can all enjoy the same kind of cultural benefits that we learn from one another, which strengthens our community.
It just made me that much more aware of how important this issue is. When you read the history of this organization and become involved, as I have, with other organizations in other states around the country, we do a great job in this state with this committee, and it's a very important aspect of our judiciary. It's something that needs to be embraced, and I do embrace it. So although I'm no longer the chair, I still have a passion for everything that this committee offers, and just continue to do what I had done for all of these years that I was on the committee, and that's to be involved in the community, always speak the truth to people regarding ethnicity and representation, and let them know that the judiciary is a fair and equitable place to resolve differences.
I think that there has been tremendous change, and that change is palpable. It's palpable in the sense that when you walk into courts in New Jersey now, I see a diversity of persons. When I went to Staff College, on the dais, I see members that I work with on the Minority Concerns Committee who are now trial court administrators. I didn't see diverse trial court administrators when I started working for the judiciary.
It gave me a great opportunity to meet and get to know some great people in the state of New Jersey throughout the state. This commission was set up by Chief Justice Walentz, and I don't know where he picked everybody from, but he did an excellent job in filling the various roles for this commission. I just hope that we continue to make progress, and programs such as this will go a long way towards that end.
New Jersey's Minority Concerns Program sees its work carried out by the Supreme Court Committee on Minority Concerns, the 15 vicinage advisory committees on minority concerns, and the staff of the Minority Concerns Unit in the Office of Communications and Community Relations. For more information, you can contact the Minority Concerns Program.